She brought another man into our home, so I ended our marriage that morning. My name is Marcus Delaney. A year ago, my life unraveled in ways I never saw coming. I lost everything I had built with my bare hands. My business, my financial stability, and almost my sanity. First, I kept my head high. I told myself it was just a storm I had to weather, that eventually things would bounce back. But as the weeks dragged on and the bank statements turned red, I saw something else start to erode. The respect in my wife's eyes. Her name was Eliza. Now, unless you've lived it, it's hard to describe what it feels like to look at the woman you love and see that she no longer sees you as her partner, but as a burden. The tension began slowly, like a crack in the wall. Fights over little things. Cold silences at dinner. Until one morning, she brought a man into our home. Not a plumber. Not a friend. Lover. She truly believed I'd just roll over and accept it. But what she didn't realize was that when a man who's lost everything is pushed too far, he doesn't break. He fights. I first met Eliza 7 years ago. At the time, life was steady and prosperous. I owned a logistics consulting firm that had grown fast in a short span. Eliza was the operations director at a client company we had just partnered with. We started with professional respect. Meetings turned to friendly banter turned to late-night calls, and eventually I asked her out. Our chemistry was natural. We both knew what it was like to live under pressure, to carry responsibility, to be needed constantly at work. It felt refreshing to be with someone who didn't need me to explain the stress. She just got it. A year later, we were married in an elegant ceremony that cost more than it probably should have. Executives, city officials, family from both coasts. It was everything she dreamed of. I didn't mind. At the time, I believed in us. We lived well. We traveled. She wanted a child. And though I wasn't quite ready, I respected her honesty. She was in her mid-30s and didn't want to wait much longer. We tried naturally. Month after month, nothing. Eventually, doctors confirmed it wouldn't happen without intervention. IVF followed, brutal, expensive, emotional. But we stuck with it. And when our son, Caleb, was born, everything else faded. I was proud. I scaled back my workload, started taking evenings off, learned how to warm bottles, and how to sleep in 90-minute intervals. It was messy but real. Eliza went back to work after 6 months. Things felt balanced. We had our rhythm. Until 3 years later, everything collapsed. My company, my pride, took a catastrophic hit after one of our partner firms was exposed in a financial fraud scandal. We had no part in it, but our name had been associated with theirs. And when it came to guilt by association, the market didn't hesitate. Contracts evaporated. Revenue crashed. Clients pulled out overnight. I lost nearly everything I had spent over a decade building. I burned through our savings to keep my team afloat, to pay bills, to shield Eliza and our son from the fallout. But eventually, there was no more left to burn. One night, after tucking Caleb into bed, I sat down with Eliza. I told her I needed help. Just a few bills, just until things stabilized. Her face froze. She stared at me and said, "This isn't my mess to fix." Then she walked out of the room. That was the moment everything inside me changed. After that night, Eliza changed. She stopped touching me. Conversations became obligations. She worked later, traveled more. Her phone became her second skin, always face down, always silent. She'd step outside to whisper into it, thinking I was asleep. Her smile. It disappeared when she looked at me. I told myself I was imagining things, that the stress was making me paranoid. So I focused on rebuilding, on the lawsuit, on clearing my company's name. But somewhere in my gut, I already knew the truth. One Thursday night, Eliza said she was going out for drinks with friends. I barely reacted. She'd used that line for months. After Caleb fell asleep, I stayed up cleaning the kitchen, then went to bed. The next morning, I woke up groggy, craving coffee. I shuffled downstairs and froze. There was a man in my kitchen, shirtless, making my coffee. For a second I thought I was still dreaming. I asked, Who are you? Before he could respond, Eliza entered wearing a robe. I looked at her and calmly asked, "Who is this? And how long has this been happening?" She didn't flinch. She rolled her eyes. "I'm not answering your questions, Marcus. Being married doesn't mean you get to police who I spend time with." I turned to the man and asked, "Did you know she was married?" He smirked. That smirk. That broke something in me. Snap. I hit him. I hit him again. I wasn't trying to prove anything. I was just done being humiliated, being disrespected, being lied to under my own roof. I ran. Eliza screamed, called me insecure, pathetic, violent. But I wasn't ashamed. Later that night, I sat alone in my home office. I wasn't thinking about the man. I was thinking about what had just shattered. Our marriage didn't end that morning. It ended months ago. I just hadn't been willing to see it. That night I didn't sleep. I opened my laptop, documented everything. And the next morning I called my lawyer. Filed for divorce. Eliza was calm at first. I think she thought she'd walk away clean. But when she realized she'd have to pay, she turned bitter. See, by then she made more money than I did. And since I had primary custody of Caleb and had been the sole caregiver through our hardest times, the court sided with me. She fought it, filed motions, changed lawyers, tried to paint me as unstable. But the facts spoke louder than her spin. I was granted full custody, kept the house. She was ordered to pay child support. And no, I didn't feel guilty. She had left me drowning when I needed her most. She brought another man into our home while I was still fighting for us. If the tables turned, I doubt she'd have shown me the same mercy. Months later, after dragging through legal hell, my company was officially cleared of any wrongdoing. The government awarded us compensation. My name was no longer smeared in the mud. I rebuilt from the ashes. Stripped everything down to the foundation, restructured, rehired. I worked like a man possessed. And at home, I was present. Caleb became my center. Every decision, every late night, every early morning was for him. Eliza faded into the background. She still tries to stir drama sometimes. But I don't engage. She made her choice. Made mine. And in letting go of the woman who once held my hand through storms but abandoned me at the first lightning strike, I finally found myself again.